Hello, welcome to Cooking with Gina. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Gina Virginia Casella. And I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Present Moment Alchemy. So I'm fighting a little something. Takes a lot to knock me down. Yesterday I enjoyed sleeping. I didn't do Cooking with Gina. Today I wouldn't mind napping a bit more, but I know it's going to be worth it to get some good food in me. And I also really need to bake this squash. So what am I doing? I don't really know, but I've got the oven heating up to 400. I'm going to slice the spaghetti squash and the acorn squash in half. And they take a good 45 to an hour, sometimes a bit longer to cook. Some folks out there, they like to cube it all and then boil it, or cube it and then bake it. But me, I just like to usually slice it in half, smother it with some olive oil and spices. And then when I take it out to eat it, that's when I'll add butter to it. So I think I'm going to, at least in this moment, just use olive oil and salt, pepper for both of them. But I'm going to leave the spaghetti squash on the plain side and just really enjoy it for the buttery taste that I'm going to be giving it. If you've never had spaghetti squash before, it really doesn't taste like much. And then the acorn squash, I think what I'm going to do is add some cinnamon to it and some maple syrup. I don't know, I think I'm going to add maybe the maple syrup to the spaghetti squash to sweeten it. And then I'll add cinnamon to the acorn. I don't know, I'm still figuring it out. I might add maple syrup to both of them. And then I'm also going to make a side cranberry sauce mixed with apples. I'm also still getting through some potatoes. There was a big bag. This is the last of them. So I think I'm just going to slice these up into wedges and put a lot of paprika on it. This is smoked paprika. I've never had smoked paprika before. It smells really good. And I'm still figuring it out. I've got some sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, but right now I feel like the priority is just getting the squash into the oven. I also have some lentils that I'm going to make. I didn't realize, but the lentils basically just, need a good 15 to 20 minutes to cook or whatever. But the snap peas, I was reading over the instructions. When in doubt, follow instructions. You have to soak them 3 to 4 hours before you boil them. So I'm wondering, that's probably where I've gone wrong, because I always feel like I can't cook my snap peas enough. I'm wondering if folks can relate in the comments. Is there like a religion behind it where you have to soak it for 3 to 4 hours, or can you get away with just soaking it for half an hour? Or should I be cooking my snap peas in a different way, or just keep doing what I'm doing but add more water? Let me know how you cook your snap peas. I'd love to know. And just to clarify, I'm going to be making lentils. So what I'm going to do is, I've already washed all of this stuff. I'm going to slice it right down the center. Sometimes it's harder than others. Once you get it started, though, it gets easier. The trick is to kind of roll it. There we go. So once you get it started, it's easier. All right. And it's just like pumpkin inside. There's seeds that need to come out. Okay, this last little bit here. There we go. So So it smells really good and it looks good inside. I was wondering about the condition it was going to be in. So it has a pumpkin smell to it. Smells really great. So I just got a bowl here and it's really easy. I literally just scratch all the pulp in here. So I'm just going to finish doing that. I forgot to turn the camera on. So I'm just slicing up the butternut squash. And what reminded me to turn on the camera is I was just about to tell you that I'm having a hard time cutting through it. So just do the rocking action. And that seems to do the trick. So this also looks really good on the inside. I was worried that both of these might be rotten, but they're actually still in really great condition. And usually there's like a bigger gap in here, a space, but that's okay. So I finished taking care of the spaghetti squash, and now I'm going to just do the same with the this squash here. And both of them have seeds inside. If you wanted to bake them just like you do with pumpkin, you could do that, but I'm not going to. So just a nice, easy clean. Some folks out there get really fancy and they stuff these holes with things. Some people, they carve out the inside, do things like mix it up with zucchinis and whatnot. I'm wondering, what do you do with your squash? And I used to have, it came in handy for this exact scenario. It was made for pumpkin carving, and it's basically a big spoon with these claws at the end, so you can just gently scrape away. I find I'm using a lot of energy with the spoon here. I'm a bit wimpier these days. And I'm wondering about you. There we go. Okay. Nope, maybe not okay. Just a little bit more in here. So something that I have experience doing this, I just haven't done it in a while, but something that I noticed is this little end here. I find it's really not a good idea to put anything in here because this little end tends to like warp, and then whatever you put in there has a hard time staying in. So if you put something in there, just put something like, you know, that's not going to spill out and basically defeat the purpose of you putting it in there. I think the trick is to add whatever you want to put in there when you're finished baking it. That way it already has its form, you know. So I think it's cool too. At the grocery store, I've noticed you can find these in the frozen section already cubed for you. So that's always a nice alternative. So I'm just going to get busy now tidying up and getting my ingredients together. Okay, so basically I'm going to treat both of these the same, at least right now in this moment. So both of them are going to get some olive oil. So I'm just going to pour it. Maybe I'll just back this up so you can see a bit of both worlds here, if you will. So I'm just going to put olive oil right on there. I'm going to put olive oil right in here. Before I get my hands all wet, I'm going to salt and pepper things up. This is Kirkland brand, if you were wondering, for the sea salt, and Kirkland brand for the cracked pepper. All right. The cinnamon and, what else do I want to add? Cinnamon and maple syrup. Those are just on hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just literally rub this with my hands, make sure it's all good and in there. I also want to get the edge, or the outside, I should say. Do the inside here. I'm not going to be eating the skin. It's just because there's oil on it. Just so if it like rolls over while it's inside, it's not going to stick to the pan. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get my maple syrup, and I'll be right back. I'm just going to add a bit of canola oil to the bottom of this. I just want to make sure that it's not sticking. It is going to be in the oven for a good like 45 to an hour, maybe a little bit more. So I've got my acorns, or not acorn squash. What is the squash called here? I forget. Oh, butternut squash, that's what it's called. So I've got it here, and I didn't get my maple syrup out, so I'm going to do that now, this time for real. So I just spent like 10 minutes looking for the maple syrup. I did take it out, it was right there. So this is President's Choice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the spaghetti squash extra attention with this. I'm literally pouring it in and around. And if you've ever done this before, you'll know that once this all softens, I basically just going to take a fork and scratch along the edges, and it'll all come together. So that's really great. And then what else do I want to do? I want to add, typically I would add brown sugar. I've got white sugar here, whatever. And then for the other ones, I'm going to add some cinnamon. And I'm also going to add some sugar. If I wanted to, I could add maple syrup, but I intentionally want just the spaghetti squash to have that taste. Where's my sugar? Right here. And if you wanted to add honey or other stuff, you could. Okay. I'm feeling like I need to get this in the oven. If I wanted to put like peppers and stuff on here, I could. But I guess I'm feeling a bit of a sweet tooth today. So I'm just going to put these inside. Oh, already smells good. I got a little sensation there. So I've got 1:26 on my clock, so it's not going to be till about 2:30 that these are ready. You know, it's one thing to keep an eye on the timer, but really, it's just like when you're baking a cake. If you can get a knife through it, that means it's ready. So I'm wondering, how do you measure? Do you use a timer, or do you just do the knife thing? Maybe a bit of both. So now I'm going to get to my next step here. All right, so these potatoes, they're already washed. And what I'm going to do is really easy. I'm just going to cut them into wedge shapes. And it's one of my favorite ways to enjoy potatoes. Well, French fries really is my favorite way, but I find wedges, it's nice every now and then to have a bigger piece to bite into. If you've never made wedges before, you just slice the potato in half, and then you slice it in half again. If you find your wedges too thick, then basically that just means that you can slice it again. Some potatoes are bigger than others. This one here is kind of borderline too big. And when you slice them, you want to slice them lengthwise. And something like wedges are always good the next day or later for a snack. I remember I went through a little phase in high school. The cool thing to do was to get wedges, and I'd always get it with extra sour cream. And I'm wondering, what's the vegan substitute for sour cream? And let me know how you enjoy your wedges in the comments. Love to hear about it. Okay, so got my stuff in here. Now what I'm going to do is just the good old, salt, pepper. And I'm going to add some paprika now, and I'm going to add some paprika later. So I've heard of paprika before. I've never really cooked with it. I've added it to macaroni and potato salads in the past, but really just for decoration. I find it doesn't have any flavor. It might just be the brands that I've been using over time. But this one here, Clubhouse Smoked Paprika, smells really good. It smells like it just smells like a smoked flavor. It doesn't smell like peppers or anything. So I'm gonna add that to, and after experiencing the smell of the smoked paprika, I don't think I'm gonna use regular paprika ever again. So I didn't add any oil, it's just sticking naturally. That's great. If I wanted to put this in Biscuit, I can. I've been on a little Biscuit kick lately, but I want a little bit of a break from Biscuit. Now what I'm going to do is add some canola oil. I could use olive oil, but if I'm baking something, I like to use canola oil. Really, I probably should have used canola oil with the squash. I just grabbed the olive oil out of habit. I'm wondering, what do you do? They smell really good. The potatoes are getting a bit of an orangey color to them just from the paprika. Gonna add a little bit more. I don't just want this to be like lightly dusted. I intentionally want there to be a lot on it. There, now this looks like something that's ready for the barbecue or something like that, right? That smells really great too. So now I'm just going to grab this dish conveniently right here. Put these on. I was trying to avoid getting my hands dirty, but okay. Just going to separate them here. I think it's a good idea to put them skin up, or skin down, I should say. I will be flipping these, kind of moving them around. Okay, and I can't wait for these to cook. So I'm just going to rinse my fingers. And I'm going to run upstairs and grab my oven mitts. It smells really good in here. It smells like some kind of cinnamon bun or something like that. It smells really great. I'm just adding these in. And I wasn't feeling very hungry, but now I'm like, ooh, cinnamon buns, I need to get in on this. So, oh, that smells good. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab my gloves and a drink. Okay, so I've got my oven mitts handy and grabbed myself a ginger ale, Canada Dry. And You know, I submitted Dragon Dreams Book 5, Sacred Phoenix Heart, to Amazon KDP, and it's still, excuse me, it's still in review. So it takes 72 hours. So I'm hoping by tonight, tomorrow morning, it'll be approved. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And I will definitely let you know the manuscripts for books 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can now purchase on Amazon. .ca, so I'm really excited about that. And it was super easy to create the, sorry, not, see, I'm all scattered here because I'm in like that exam brain mode right now. But like, what I meant to say is you can purchase books 1 to 4 on Kindle. And so it was super easy just to upload my manuscript onto Kindle and a picture of the cover. So, I had really bad brain fog back in the spring when I published books 1 to 4, that I just said, oh, I'll worry about Kindle later. And then I tackled it yesterday and it was like totally no problem. So if you wanted to publish a book, it's a lot easier than you think on KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. That's how you get your book onto Amazon.ca or Amazon. Whatever country you're from. And so, and then uploading it to be Kindle. So it's just like a little tiny page on people's cell phones that they can read. It's a lot easier than I thought. And so I wanted to lovingly invite you to self-publish. It's an amazing feeling. And I can't wait to tell you it's official. You can buy book 5. Okay, so what am I doing? I don't know. I'm making some kind of sauce. So I'm going to use cranberries. These were frozen, and the name brand is Supra Fruit. So I'm just going to add how much? I don't know. About half the bag, that much. And I'm going to put the rest of these back in the fridge. And then I've also got 2 apples that I'm going to peel and add. So I'm just going to do that right now. Did I say I was putting these back in the fridge? I'm putting them back in the freezer. This is unedited, unscripted, folks. And just wondering, do you do that? Do you say things that you don't mean? I do that all the time. Throughout my teaching career, I would call, students, other students' name, and they knew what I meant at some point. Or, when classroom management, sometimes I would say to them, like Division 20. They're like, what, Division 4? And it's like, excuse me, or one time I was pissed off and I'm like, Division, you know who you are. And they just started laughing at me, but they were like, just kind of like, it was like a bonding thing. Like they knew me and they knew that in this moment, I don't even care what division number they are. And this isn't just 1 year. This is like throughout my whole teaching career. I would be like, okay, grade 4s. Meanwhile, it's a grade 2, 3 class, but it's just grade 4 was in my mind because I just finished like teaching on call for a grade 4 class, or the year before I had a grade 4 class. And so they just, over the course of my career, stopped correcting me because I think like with the tone of voice, like, you know what people mean, right? And I'm just wondering if you can relate in the comments. Canada Dry tastes good. And I'm wondering, what are you drinking? I'm going through a little phase right now, drinking a lot of pop. And it's nice. So if you're wondering what I'm up to, I just finished peeling the apples. And now I'm just going to cut them. I don't know what kind of apples these are, but they smell like they're nice and tarty, so that's good. I always just cut the edges off too. And sometimes I'll put these apple cores in water to infuse it, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Also, I feel like this apple is It's like perfect to use for what I'm using right now. It's like perfect to, it's a bit too ripe is what I'm trying to say to do my apple water thing. Part of me wanted to cut apples up and put it mixed in with the squash, but I think it's going to be nice just to have it mixed in with my cranberries. Years ago, I never cooked with squash until I was in my 30s. And same with like avocado. I don't think I heard of an avocado until I was in my late teen years. I remember seeing them at the grocery store, but nobody really knew what they were or what to do with them. And they were always like hard as a rock. But anyways, just with food availability, at least in my life, it's been nice. This is definitely tarty. And I think making a sauce out of this is a really good idea because it's I'm gonna add some more sugar to the sauce here. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was gonna say. In my early 30s, that's when I started cooking with squash, like spaghetti squash, and the only squash I cooked with was pumpkin. And basically I would just make pumpkin pies out of it, or I went through phases where I would like boil it and mash it up with butter, and really wasn't successful actually, outside of making pies or some kind of like, instead of like carrot cake, you make like pumpkin cake. That's my success story with pumpkin. But going back to squash, I remember acorn squash, slice it in half, take out the seeds like I did with these two, and then you have your cinnamon and apple mixture with brown sugar, and you put apples on there and it all bakes together nicely. And you can chop up the apples and put it on top. It's really great to add like walnuts or pecans with it. So that's, I think, where these ideas are coming from today. And it's also why I think I keep referring to the butternut squash as an acorn squash. It's just in my head, but you know what I mean, right? So to make this sauce, I'm going to put some sugar on top. How much sugar? I don't know, this much sugar. I can add more. I intentionally want it to be sweet, and I intentionally like, I'm not just adding sugar to try and cut the tart taste. I want it to be sweet as well. So it's sweet, it's cinnamony. If I had cinnamon sugar, that would be great, but I didn't see any. So that's okay. So I'm going to stir this around. So I will be adding water to this as well. It's just if you add the sugar first, then it gets that chemical reaction started where it's like extracting the juices from the apple and the cranberries. So basically I'm just going to add some water, let it come to a boil, cook it, and then it should just kind of like mash away on its own. But if I have to actually take the potato masher to it, I'm just going to lightly mash it because I want it to be on the chunky side. So I'm just going to add sugar to this. I mean, I meant water. And I added maybe that much water. As it heats up, it's going to get watery on its own. And if I need to thicken it, I can add a thickener to it. But my intention is just for it to be as is, its own little cranberry apple puree, so to speak, to use as a dip. So now what I'm going to do is, well, not just a dip, but like just to pour it on, you know, as is. And then anyways, I'm going to get my green lentils. This is Surrey brand. So I'm just going to get these in the strainer. Or actually, I'll put them right in the pot here, give them a rinse with water, and then fill the pot up. So I'll be right back. So I'm not sure how many I'm cooking for. I think just a little side helping of lentils. Tomorrow, if there's leftovers, I could reheat these as is. I could make a soup out of it. I could put it all together and make patties. But I don't want too many leftovers for what it's worth, so I'm just going to give these a rinse. So I've never used these lentils before, and there was like absolutely no starch or anything when I rinsed them in water. I think the ratio, this is why I don't like baking, but I think the rules, if you will, is whatever amount you add, you have to basically add 3 to 4 times the amount of water. So I have about this much lentils, and then I've got about this much water. So I'm going to put it on high. And I can see here my, yeah, you can see it. Rosie's in the background. Folks trying to get in on Cooking with Gina are also in the background every now and then. I don't know if you can hear them. This smells really good. It kind of smells like pre-Thanksgiving kind of scents in the air. If I had some lemon juice, I feel like I might want to squirt some in here. So I'm just stirring it so that nothing is getting stuck to the bottom. And I think what I'd like to do now is just take a drink of my ginger ale and then check on my things in the oven. I'm just noticing my sauce here is starting to boil. Got a nice full boil, so I'm just going to reduce the heat. Finding this stove, still getting used to it, to be on the warmer side, so I reduced it right to I think 4. I'm going to reduce it to. Okay, and it seems like it's settling down a little bit. So I'm going to check on my stuff in the oven. Okay, I almost forgot to turn the camera on again. So my stuff in the oven, how does it look? It's only been about half an hour or so, but just to, oh yeah, it's like still totally hard. This is still totally hard. Oh, this is starting to soften, but still way too hard to come out, like way too hard. You should be able to put it right in like a hot knife through butter, just like you would a cake. My potatoes, how are these coming along? Potatoes are still really hard. I think what I'm going to do though, is since they've been in there for about half an hour, is I'm going to flip them. So I don't know if you have a clear view or not. Hope you don't mind. And I'm just literally going to take this and put it down here. And I'm getting beeped at. I guess I'm taking too long. And then the potato wedges, just give those a little move around to make sure that they're not sticking. I could flip them over, but I feel like it's fine like this. They're fine on the skin side. The potato skin acts like a little protective layer, and then it adds a little bit of chewiness. So I don't remember now. Look like this. Okay. And I found the cinnamon on top here. Looks like it's burning a little bit. Let's get some of the juice on there. Okay. So hopefully in another half an hour, it'll be time to eat. And just as I was saying that, my lentils are at a full boil. So just going to reduce this. I still want it to cook. Usually when I'm making something like mashed potatoes or whatever, I boil it. And then when I reduce it to about 8. And these days, I don't know, maybe I'm just used to using older versions of things, but I feel like I need to reduce it right to like 2 to 4. And right now it's on 6. So I'm actually just going to go double check the instructions. Instructions, whatever, right? So you have to boil it, like get it to a boil and then boil it for a good 5 minutes. Then put a lid on and reduce heat. That's a lot to remember. That's why I don't do well with instructions. But I think I'm just going to leave the package out to help me remember what I need to do. And I'm wondering too in this moment if I even have a lid. Anyways, I'm going to look for a lid and give my cranberry applesauce a little stir. Okay, I found a lid and it fits, so that's good. All right, so I just got the light from the microwave on here. So how do I know when my apple cranberry sauce is ready? Basically when the apples are ready. So when the apples get nice and soft, which they almost are, I can start mashing them a little bit. I will be adding butter to this, but not till like the last step. So whatever mashes, mashes, and whatever doesn't mash, doesn't mash. I intentionally want it to be on the chunky side. If I wanted to, I could even just leave it like this, which I might do. I like it. The cranberries are part mashed, part not mashed. The apples are part mashed, part not mashed. So it's nice. So I found this little gadget here in the cupboard. Seems like the cranberries are in a nice puree right now. There's still some whole chunks in there. That's okay. And some of the apples are starting to mash now. So it's kind of looking more like a jam. And as it cools, it'll thicken. So before you start adding starch and whatnot, just keep that in mind. I'm going to remove this from the heat. Oops. So I'm just going to tidy up what I spilled here and give it a little taste test. Okay, so I got a little scoop here. It's piping hot. I'm afraid of the spoon being too hot. Here's your bite. So this is great just as is to, like, you know, instead of having applesauce, now you have apple cranberry sauce, you know. I added a lot of sugar to this. In a perfect world, I would have added cinnamon to the apples and cranberries yesterday, let it sit overnight, and then make this. Whenever you're working with applesauce, I find in my experience, it's always better to add your cinnamon to your fruit or your whatever it is you're using in advance. It just seems to work its magic. Mm, that is really, really good. Find it to be really tarty though. The strawberries, and I can't really taste the cinnamon. So I'm going to add some more cinnamon to it. I was worried I didn't add enough. Add a bit more to it, and definitely add some more sugar. There's a restaurant I used to like going to. They're like an all-day breakfast kind of place, and they're like seemingly fancy because they have all these crepes and wraps and whatnot. And it doesn't matter what season you go there, they've got like perfect looking berries and whatnot, but honestly it just tastes like sour tart. I find I have to put so much sugar on my dish just to try and cut the tartness. And I like tart, but then there's like sour and like not ripe, just genetically modified foods. And I stopped going to that restaurant as a result. Okay, just give my lentils a stir here while I'm noticing them. I don't know, has it been 5 minutes? Is it time to reduce it? Gonna grab another little spoon, give this another little taste test. If anything, I thought the apples might be a bit too tart. I wasn't concerned about the strawberries. Mm. It's still like tarty, but I think it's the skin from the cranberries. But it tastes like candy. Like it tastes like some kind of candy pie. Um, so if I had like, I don't know, like if I had like some kind of like pie crust, I'm just trying to think like how could I use that biscuit mix that I have and then put something like this inside. I think that would be really good. Oh, I know, I forgot to add butter. I'm going to add butter to this right now. I knew I was missing something. So how much butter am I adding? I don't know, this much. Um, my intention was to add butter as a last step, but I almost forgot to add it completely. It would have been ideal to add the butter when it was still on the element, but that's okay as long as it's hot and it melts. And I got 3 spoons here. I washed them and they're ready to go. There we go. Part of me wants to add more butter, but I think this will be okay. Now I'm just going to take my spoon here and give it another taste test. Here's your taste test. The butter really helps just kind of bring it all together. It actually helped out with that little tardiness. Maybe I just got a cranberry that was a bit too on the tardy side. I'm going to add a little bit more butter. Clean spoon in this hand, dirty spoon in that hand. Yeah, little went a long way. And it's still just, there's something in there that's still just a little bit too tardy. So to be fair, ever since my severe panic attack, I'm a bit more sensitive to things. I can handle spicy peppers, but it seems like this tardiness, I think it's just me. It's not the food product. And I also think I'm having a bit of sensitivity to the tardiness of the skins from the cranberry. but it's overall really tasty, and adding just a little bit of butter like that really helped to bring it together. So I'm wondering, do you add butter to your sauces? How do you bring things together? Typically, I like to use brown sugar for these kind of experiences. If I had white sugar on hand, whatever. What do you use? Let me know in the comments. And let me know about molasses if you like to use it in cooking. I used to buy a little carton of it once every year and try to make gingerbread cookies at Christmas time. I've also used molasses on the acorn squash, or the, in my head, I'm like, don't say acorn squash. And then I said it, the butternut squash. But then I actually, I haven't bought molasses in years just because I don't really use it. And I'm wondering about folks out there. Looks like my lentils as well are ready for me to put the lid on. So I'm just going to give these a stir. Reduce it right to low and put the lid on. So how do you cook your lentils? And like I said, let me know about the snap peas, what your tips and tricks are. I'd love to hear about them in the comments. So part of me wants to make rice and part of me wants to make some penne noodles. But that's the beauty about having spaghetti squash. Like instead of using the noodles, you're having the squash. But I think just for the hell of it, just for the taste and texture of it, I'm going to boil up a little bit of penne noodles. So I have the smallest pot that I've ever used to make penne noodles before. I'm going to use this one here. And I think I'm just going to put like a few little handfuls of penne noodles. And I'm just going to mix these with butter, garlic, salt, and pepper. But part of me, oh, I turned on the wrong element here. There we go. Part of me really wants to enjoy the that sauce. I think it might be good, just a little scoop of it on the penne noodles. And I think it'd be nice too, just for the penne noodles to absorb some of the other sauces. And I was eating a lot of pasta and then I got sick of it, but I think I'm hungry for pasta now is what might be going on. I don't know what's going on with you. Okay, so I'm going to check on my stuff. It was like that big hot heat wave that comes out. The potatoes, my knife was able to go through it, but just give them a little mix up here. They're almost ready. Almost ready. I don't want to rush it. And then here, oh yeah, this feels like it's ready. The acorn squash, not so much. Okay. So I need to remove the spaghetti squash from the heat and add the, keep the other one in. Okay, this is my clean spoon. So what I'm going to do is use my bowl here. Oh, this is a little bit of a delicate process. Okay, I'm just going to take these out. And they're super hot. I think what I'd like to do is put my my squash on here. And it feels really hard, but it's like super soft on the sides. It's coming along. It is coming along. As you can see, I'm able to poke the knife in no problem, but it's still really hot. So
So I'm just going to use this big spoon here to help me transfer it. Whoop. Okay, this is going back in. And then what to do is you take your spaghetti squash here, and some people, they just let it sit and breathe. But the thing to do is, if you can, just take it. You need the assistance of a spoon. Take a spoon, dump that juice in here, just for the sake of it being dumped in there. Okay. And then the rest is really easy. You just put this in here. And you can use a fork, but that's just nice to help break it up. But you can see, I'll take it out of here. You can just go like this. And then when it's in my bowl, it'll separate a bit more. So that's really good. It turned out really great. You just want to like gently scratch the edges so the rest of it just crumbles in. You want to be careful too, because there's so much heat that comes out that it burns you, right? So you just want to be careful. This method here, just plopping it in, seems to be working. The reason I took it out of the bowl was so you could have a better view. Usually I just do it right in the bowl. So you can see here, it's just a nice little container. Folks who are on the fancier side will mix up their creation and then put it back in. Makes a nice decoration. And it's totally happened to me where I've overcooked it and then some of the skin ends up in my dish, but whatever. Whoop. Okay, so I'm just gonna take care of the other one, and my noodles here are gonna be going into the water. Everything always happens at once in the kitchen. Instead of taking a moment to pause it, I think I'm just gonna quickly do this here. Okay, I can see my water is boiling. I'm coming, water. Don't you worry. So tomorrow I want to wash my towels and stuff like that. I think I should put my oven mitts in there after today. So there you go. That's what's left of it. Just going to move this out of the way. Going to reduce the heat here to 8. And I think I mentioned it. This is Barilla pasta. I'm just going to add like 1, 2, yeah, no. 4 little handfuls of pasta, and that's it. It's just kind of like a little side dish pasta, not the main course pasta. I'm really excited about the penne noodles. I haven't had penne noodles in a little while. So just back to this here. I'm going to be doing the same thing with the other squash when it's ready. So I just want to mix it up. If I need to take a fork, that's what I need to do, but I feel like the chunkiness is separating. And like anything, you don't want to play with it too much because then it'll just kind of turn into a mush. The idea is that there are chunks in it. So something like this, see the top part is chunky and then it's all like spaghetti. I like it like that. It's okay. So I'm just going to give this a little taste test. Oh, and I need to add butter to it. Okay, let me add some butter here. Maybe I'll just use the fork that I'm going to taste test it with. And then I want to check on my stuff in the oven again. Okay, so I'm going to taste test with that fork. Just get the butter somewhat evenly distributed. Just feel like I need to stir my pasta in this moment. Okay. So if anything, I'm going to add more maple syrup. It tastes perfect just like that. Part of me wants to add more maple syrup just out of habit, but I think it's fine. If people want to add maple syrup right onto their plates, that might be an idea. But you can taste it, and it's tasty, and that's what matters. Forgot to turn the camera on. I just checked on the lentils, did a little taste test, and it's really good. I'm just going to increase the temperature to 2. I had it on low, and it's at a point where I need to keep an eye on it, or it's just going to like dry right out and start burning. But taste-wise, it's really, really good. And I'm going to check on my oven now. So I feel like they're ready. I'm going to take them out. But before I get too excited, I want to spend a little bit more time just really making sure that they're ready. You know, I know what it's like to finally eat and it's like, it's not even ready. So I'll just take this potato here. Yeah, it looks like it's ready on the inside. And then here, I just personally feel like it could be a bit softer. But it seems to be fine. I'm overthinking it. So I just go like this and kind of square it. That way it's a bit easier when I take it out. I couldn't find another big bowl. That's okay. Just gonna get my oven mitts on here. And got lots of dishes on the go. I had a nice big wide spoon. Oh, it's in the other mix. That's okay. Just give it a little rinse here. So I've just, oh, you can't see me. I've got this here. just to help get it together. I feel like there's a little piece of skin that came off. Where did it go though? I don't see it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this little half here. I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm just scooping it out. It's not coming out easy like the spaghetti squash did. That's okay. Ooh, it's really hot to manage. So this is a good example. In a perfect world, it's just a nice cube that comes out. I'm just noticing some skin. It's really not a big deal if you get skin in your plate. It's just, you know, not exactly tasty. And I think sometimes too, you know, you just want to save that one little piece and then you end up like getting a lot of skin. Something else I could have done too was make, you know, poked holes and made lines in it before I baked it, but I've never had to do that before. Usually I just put it in and it's fine. Ooh, it's hot. Okay. I think I'm just about done doing this now. And I don't know if you can see my pasta, but it looks like it's ready to boil. It's nice to, you know, slice these in 4 and then people just take like one right onto their plate and then they can individually deal with it. How do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for the squash. This is a nice little bit here. Skin doesn't want to come off. There we go. All right, stir my noodles. Okay, so I'm just going to tidy this up and basically dinner's ready. So everything happens at once in the kitchen. So I'm just adding some butter to the mixture here. And then my pasta, I'm just gonna get a strainer and take care of that. Okay, so I got my pasta and my lentils here. So where did my spoon go now? Okay, right here, yeah. So I'm just going to add a nice blob to the lentils. Maybe another blob. Gonna add a nice little blob to the penne noodles. So whenever I make pasta noodles, when I strain them, I always leave a little bit of water. That's intentional, just to kind of get like a little sauce going on its own. I didn't roast the lentils, but they kind of have like a roasted scent to them. So the noodles, this is one of my favorite ways to have them, just good old butter and salt. Might as well put some pepper on there too. The lentils, I will add a little bit of butter and salt, why not? So this turned out to be quite the feast. I was worried there wasn't going to be enough. I wasn't sure about the state of the squash. So I'm just gonna tidy up a little bit here and get my plate together. I never ended up using these seeds. Oh well, I wonder if you can relate. Do you just take out ingredients in case and then use them, don't use them? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so this turned out to be quite the feast. I think the colors are just really beautiful. Pictures, videos do not do justice, so I'm just gonna grab a plate and get busy. So just all of the liquid went to the bottom, so I'm just flipping this around a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is put my pasta and lentils in my plate first. That way the other sauces can get in on there. So, okay. Some pasta. Some, ooh, this is a bit heavy. Lentils, kind of on the pasta, off the pasta. The next thing I'm going to add are the, whatever this one is called, the, it's not the acorn squash, it's the butternut squash, the orange squash. The potatoes, I'm gonna take some right here. And then my spaghetti squash, I'm gonna put it part on my noodles and part on my butternut squash. And then I just want to get some of that juice. Oh yeah. Okay, so it ended up being a lot of food. Next thing I want to do is top everything with salt and pepper like I like to do. Be careful with this one here. It seems to come out fast. And my sauce. Just gonna go for it. I'm gonna put a little bit on everything. Kind of blob it in the center there. And I've been taste testing this throughout. Tastes phenomenal, looks phenomenal. There's your zoom in. There's a big space in the center, but really I should have put the stuff, closer together, but whatever. My favorite part is the taste testing. So I don't know, what should I go for first? I think maybe the lentils mixed with some of the sauce. Here's your bite. Ooh, see that steam? Mmm, like really good with the sauce. I think if you were short pie ingredients or you wanted to sneak some protein, that you could just mix the lentils with this and put it in a pie, and it would be really, really good. I'm remembering in this moment that I forgot to put garlic powder on here. That's okay. So this orange one, the butternut squash, has just salt, pepper, and olive oil on it, and cinnamon. It tastes really, really great on its own. Now I'm going to try it with the sauce. Mm. Again, it tastes really great. The sauce kind of overpowers the flavor though, but it's a nice texture, just like when you're eating mashed potatoes or rice, it all kind of mixes together. This here I already tried, but try it again. Mm. Has a really nice maple syrup taste to it. Try it with my sauce. Mm. The sauce really turned out, bringing the whole dish together. Pasta noodles just as is. Find the noodles, they don't really expand, at least the Barilla brand. The Penne noodles anyways. Dessert pasta, I don't know, what would you call this? Pasta noodles with my apple cranberry sauce. Mm, really, really, really good. Mm. And then of course my potato. I can't taste the paprika. Maybe I need to sprinkle it on when it's done. I already put it away. Hold on a sec, I'm gonna get it. So I'm just gonna do a little test here. Oh, it's like way too, a lot came out, a lot more than I anticipated would. Oh yeah. So the paprika, you need to add some. Actually, if I were to make potatoes like this again with the paprika, I wouldn't add any paprika on it until the end. So there. Now those have paprika on it, as do the ones in my plate. And like all of my meals, this is just simply phenomenal. The power is truly in its simplicity. I think butter, salt, pepper is like the best thing ever when cooking. What do you think is the best thing ever? It was nice to fall back on a little handful of noodles. And it's a nice change from the biscuit and patties that I've been making. I wonder what I'll make tomorrow out of this, leftovers if there are any. And I'll definitely keep you updated on book 5. It is still currently in review, but you can purchase books 1 to 4. You can get the paperback, or you can get the Kindle version on Amazon.ca. So you just go to Amazon.ca and type in my name, Gina Virginia Casella. You can type in Dragon Dreams. You can type in both, and I'll come up in the search. So thank you so much for watching Cooking with Gina. I really didn't feel like cooking today, and I'm really glad I did. Cooking brings me joy. It comes naturally to me. But also just getting good food is important. And I feel really good about this good food that I'm about to chow down on. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. please like and subscribe to my YouTube at Gina Virginia Casella. And I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Present Moment Alchemy. Until next time, see ya.